Hi everyone, I'm Amy. Welcome back to my kitchen. Today is a really good day. I'm excited about today's tutorial. If you follow my Instagram at all, you know that I have done a lot of the number cookie cakes, and I'm going to walk you through that whole process today. The variations are endless, and I'm going to talk about that in a second. Today, I'm actually not doing a number. I'm going to do my initial, A for Amy. And what I did beforehand is I just got some poster board, just a small poster board, and I got a pencil and just drew my letter A, and then I cut it out, and that's going to be my template for my cookie dough. All right, now I'm going to talk about all the different variations you can make. There are two ways that you can cut out the cookie or cookie dough. If it's a shaped cookie dough, like sugar cookies, where you get the cookie cutters and then you bake it, or gingerbread. I've done it with a peanut butter shaped cookie dough. You are going to roll the dough out and cut the template out before it's cooked. I've also used ginger snap cookie dough, chocolate chip cookie dough. If it's a cookie dough that spreads in the oven, then you're gonna roll the dough out, let it cook, and cool all the way, and then after it's baked, that's when you're gonna trace the number or the letter out. So if it's a shaped cookie that holds its shape, you cut before. If it's a cookie that spreads, you cut after. Today I am doing a sugar cookie dough. So if you want to check my sugar cookie recipe, it is posted on my YouTube. It's no fail, no refrigerator time, but you don't have to chill it for 2 hours before baking. The only thing you have to do is freeze the dough for about 15 minutes before baking. So what you're gonna do is you're going to get a cookie sheet and line it with parchment. Do the parchment, it's the easiest. If you're doing, you can make these as big or as small as you want. I'm just kind of doing an average size, but I've done giant numbers where I put the entire number one number fills one entire cookie sheet. And I had like 4 cookie sheets out. But for today, I just have a small one, and you're going to need 2 of each letter or number. So if I did 16, I need 2 1s and 2 6s. But for today, for just my initial, I'm going to do 2 A's. So let me show you how to do that. You're gonna start with a big chunk of cookie dough on your cookie sheet, and you're just gonna roll it out. I like to keep it fairly thick because I want the cookie to stay pretty soft. The number one question I get asked is, how in the world do you cut that? And I'm going to show you today. Never before seen on my Instagram. I'm going to show you that. The cookie or biscuit is a soft cookie, and it just cuts right through really nicely. So I'm gonna keep it pretty thick, but not so thick that it doesn't cook all the way through and then it falls apart on you. You don't want that to happen either. I'm just gonna use my hand to press it out a little bit more. And I'll just get my letter and just see if it's not quite. It might work this way. Nope, not yet. If you find that you need to put some more pieces on the corner, totally you can do that to make it fit and make it more square. Let's see how big that is. Perfect. Okay, so I'm gonna place the template on there just gently. You don't want it to stick. And then I have an X-Acto knife that I'll use, but I've totally used like a steak knife before. That's no problem. Okay, so you're just gonna hold it down and just cut. This one's a little longer. I'm gonna use that one. There we go. Just make sure it cuts all the way down. I don't have that middle part, the middle triangle cut out. I'm just gonna eyeball that after I've got the main part. So if you're doing like a number 8, you don't need to cut those center circles out. That's kind of tricky. You can just eyeball that. Let's see if that comes off. Yep. I already made one of these ahead of time. And I just want to make sure that I do it in the right spot. You want it to be pretty identical. Okay, there we go. I'm gonna go a little bigger than that because it'll spread just a bit in the oven. Okay, here's a tip with any of my shaped cookies. The trick to get it not to spread is to freeze the shaped cookie for 15 to 20 minutes in the freezer before baking. Freezing it will help it not spread and will hold its shape. So that's what I'm gonna do now. I'm gonna stick it in my freezer. And I'm gonna get going on my buttercream. For this particular cake, I'm going to use 2 flavors of buttercream and 2 colors. Anything works. You can just do 1 flavor, 1 color. I have done a peanut butter cookie before and done chocolate and peanut butter buttercream. Really, the possibilities and the variations are endless. Okay, just gonna go in the freezer. Okay, this has been in my freezer for about 20 minutes and I'm going to put it in a 350-degree oven. Watch it carefully. You want the center you want it to no longer look wet at all, but you don't want much browning on. In fact, I don't think you want any browning on the sugar cookie. This is what it looks like when it's done. It's cooked through, but there's no browning. On the very bottom you can see it, but that's okay. Just not on top. All right, friends, I just got my letter sugar cookie out of the oven. It's barely brown on the bottom. I can barely see it, but completely white on the top. No browning on the top, but it is cooked through because I don't see any moisture or anything. Now, you're going to want to work with frozen cookies just because when you're transferring and lifting, it's just going to be easier. So I'm gonna stick this in the freezer for a good half hour to an hour. Okay, we are ready to build this cookie cake. I'm going to start with one of my letters and I'm actually going to turn it over and put a little bit of buttercream just in some small dabs around the bottom, and that's going to adhere it to my cake board. So I'm using a square cake drum. They're called cake drums, and I find mine on Amazon. However, you could just put it on your cookie sheet or a big plate. It doesn't have to be the cake drum. Okay, this is like the most fun part. Now I'm just going to get my buttercream. I have a pink vanilla and I have a lemon buttercream. And I have the round tip here and the open star tip here, but you can use anything. It doesn't have to be different. You can do the same. Okay, so I'm gonna start piping. I'm gonna alternate colors. And I want it to be pretty thick. I want the cookie to sit up high, the other cookie. I'm just gonna kind of go back and forth. Get my pink. Okay, and just kind of fill it in a little bit. Doesn't matter in the middle because you don't see that part. Now, before you put the other cookie on top, chill this. Otherwise, your cookie's just gonna smash it down and it's gonna go everywhere. So put this in the freezer for like 15 minutes. Okay, I've chilled this for about 10 minutes and I'm going to finish up. Like I said, make sure your cookies are chilled. It's just easier to transfer them. And then you can, after you're done decorating, let it come to room temperature. So just gently, see how the buttercream is chilled and stiff enough to hold up the second cookie? Now just repeat the process on this. That looks pretty good actually. Sometimes just on the top, I'll fill in the little gaps with little, just smaller little dabs of frosting just to fill it in and make it pretty. Okay, and then you can decorate the top. You can leave it like this, it's really pretty. You can add some sprinkles. I like to just get some matching candies or cookies and just kind of place them on. So I have some Oreos. I think those big ones might be too big for me, for my taste. So I have some mini Oreos. I have some of these frosted animal cookies that are cute. And just have fun decorating. I've used jelly beans, Starburst, Skittles, M&Ms. On like my chocolate peanut butter cake, I did Reese's peanut butter cups and Reese's sticks and Reese's pieces, and it was so good. I've done this with Oreo buttercream. That's absolutely delicious. And I put Oreos on top, mini Oreos and regular Oreos. But anyway, just make it however you like it. Okay, I think that'll do it. Get one more little cute animal right there. And one more. No, that's good. Okay. So easy and simple, but looks really elegant and like you spent a lot of time. And there it is. You could spell out names, you could do numbers, you can do initials. Let's cut into it. This is the #1 question I get asked on Instagram. How does it cut? It cuts really nicely because it's a soft cookie. So you can just actually slice right down. Oh yeah, that worked wonderfully. And each person can have an individual portion of the cake. So, mystery solved, questions answered, there you go. Let me know if you try this at home. I'd love to hear your feedback, and if you want to see more content like this, subscribe to my channel and check me out on Instagram @Neurotic Mom.